Hi folks, back again, Bathrobe Chronicles number 176, and boy, my production assistant is fleeing again. What happened is I just started this tape, and I was running my mouth, and I was getting close to 15 minutes, and I go over to turn the daggone thing off, and it had stopped somewhere along the way because I was out of, yes, memory. I just replaced the battery before I started. So, I don't know. I don't know if this one's going to be better than the other. I don't even know how far it went, but I'll start from scratch. Anyway, what I want to talk about is why bogus therapies often seem to work. Now, there is a paper I'm going to go over later by Bierstein, excuse me, PhD, Dr. Barry. But for now, how this started was a couple of weeks or a month or so ago, I did a segment on CNN and acupuncture. And what had ticked me off about it was the fact that CNN had some medical doctor, and he was going over all these so-called therapies that would help with, it may have been back, I don't know, maybe it was with pain, I can't remember. But anyway, the thing that ticked me off was not there was some medical doctor who believes in acupuncture, which there are a bunch of them, but it was that CNN ran it without having somebody on the other side. You know, it's not as though people are universally in agreement that acupuncture works. I have no idea what segment of the population or what segment of the science community or medical community or whatever feels as though it does work, and how many don't. But it's not something that has universal agreement. And I just thought it was unfair that they ran that. Anyway, what happened was one of my internet pals, Lucas, sent me a well-written, well-reasoned comment. He said that no, he didn't believe in it, but his wife went and had it done and she felt better. And he said, what's up with that? So, I was going to respond to his comment and send him a note, but I decided what I would try to do is see if I could come up with any ideas that I might have that may make sense as to why people can have something done to them that's inert. In other words, that has no way of helping them, but yet they feel better. And I know I'm fumbling through this, so please, you know, bear with me, or turn the tape off or whatever. One thing I really need to make a disclaimer about is the fact that I have absolutely no medical training. None. Zero. None. I did make it through college. Yes. I have no science. None. Zero. No chemistry, no physics, no physiology, no biology. You know, all those other science things that are actually hard to understand, had none of it. So I do want to make that clear. Now, what are we talking about here? What we're trying to say is we know there are millions, you know, all over the world, most likely billions of people going to what we would call practitioners, for lack of a better word, that have bogus therapies. In other words, things that there's no way they can work. In other words, it's impossible. In other words, if I were to sit here and say that, let's say you're down the street, or you're across the ocean, or you're in another state, and I'm going to sit here and go like that, and I'm going to help you with one of your medical problems, I think most of us would say, come on, George, you're nuts, you know, nobody can do that. Folks, there are therapies out there like that. There are people out there who claim that they can cure you or heal you, what have you, remotely. That means they not only aren't they touching you, they aren't even seeing you. I've talked about those kinds of things before, but here's what I want to try and figure out today, or talk with you about today, is how is it I can walk in the door, get a bogus treatment, come out and say I feel better. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one explanation for it: placebo. That's it. Nothing else. In other words, there's nothing that they're doing that is going to help you. It's placebo. Now, you know, I think we all are influenced by placebos. I know that I've said before, when I go see my doctor, part of my feeling better, once I'm there, is the fact that she's proven that if I have something wrong, she can most likely figure out, number one, what it is, and most likely, you know, figure out how to fix it, if you will. So there's some therapeutic value to my being there, just being in her presence. And that would be the placebo. Whatever part of how much better I feel or whatever, that's not caused by some medical intervention that she's done or some prescription or something. And of course at that moment, she's not giving me prescriptions and things, but that would be placebo. It's not bad, I mean, hey, I'll take it if I can feel better and it's placebo, that's fine. Okay. However, would I knowingly go and pay someone money just to know that when I walk out the door, any benefit is placebo? Of course not. And there's no mechanism, known mechanism, that would say that an acupuncturist, for instance, or an energy healer, for instance, which is all sort of the same, can't help me. Now, what's the basis for acupuncture? Let's use that for a moment. As I best understand, it's the same old energy healing stuff. We have meridians that run through our body. Now, no, if you get a physiology chart, folks, they are not going to be on there. And then we have this universal life energy that's running through us. And no, folks, if you go to a science book or a medical book, you're not going to be able to look up universal life energy because there's no such thing. Well, let me put it to you this way. It hasn't been proven that it exists. And I think for most of us, I think it's reasonable to say if there's no theoretical reason for it to exist, and there's no reason, there's no way you can measure it and show me on some gauge or scope or something that it exists, then if I had to make a decision as to whether or not I feel as though it exists or it doesn't exist, I think I would say, until you give me some proof here, it doesn't make sense to me, and I will say it doesn't exist. Okay? So that eliminates all those people out there doing this so-called energy healing. So getting back to Lucas's question, why did his wife feel better? Well, I don't know, but I'll hazard a guess here. Let's just say you go to, I want to use like an energy healer, like a Reiki person or Jin Shindo or some of that kind of mess. There's this whole ritual. In other words, it's just Eastern medicine, and it's Kung Fu, it's all those things, from Eastern, all that mysterious stuff over there from the Orient and things like that. And they've been doing this stuff for thousands of years. And we over here with this Western medicine, we just don't understand. And on and on and on and on. You get a whole lot of that. So there's this ritual kind of stuff. Also, you've been to this person before, and they're like your friend, your buddy. In other words, they're going to hold your hand and listen to you and all of that. Now, when I go see my medical doctor, she's in and out of there like a snap, man. I'll tell you. That's because she's busy. And she's not going to waste any time with me. We're not going to have a whole lot of idle chit-chat. Might have a little bit, but not much. For instance, the last time I was in, I knew she'd been on vacation. How was vacation? It was great. Little stuff like that. But she's in there getting the job done and then going on to the next patient. The energy healer, they have all day. Number one, they don't have a whole lot of patients or customers or whatever you want to call it, rubes, R-U-B-E-S, or what have you. So they can spend a whole lot of time with you. So you're going to go through this ritual with them. They're going to most likely have a really quiet room. They may have some weird music going on. Hey, they may even have some incense and all that kind of crap, So there's this ritual when you get there. And they're going to talk and talk and talk. They're going to talk as long as you want to talk because, hey, you're paying for it. Then they're going to go through this ritual of whatever it is they're going to do. Acupuncturists are going to be poking needles in you and all this kind of stuff. If it's a Reiki master, no telling what they'll be doing. They'll be poking you like this, or they'll be, going like this, or whatever. So there's this whole ritual. Now, as I said, I had this other tape I was babbling in for 15 minutes before I found out I was out of memory, and I had no idea what it was, and I'm having difficulty deciding what I said this tape and what I said on the other tape, but here's what I don't think I've mentioned on this tape. And that is, I think for us to subjectively have much accuracy about whether our pain is going up or down, I think it's hard to do. For instance, when you go to a dentist or a doctor, they'll normally say something like, on a pain scale of 1 to 10, where's your pain? Okay. It's subjective. We don't have a blood pressure type cuff that we can put on and pump up and say, oh gosh, you know, the pain's 5. Have a treatment, you come and check it again, the pain's 4. We can't do that with pain. At least I don't think we can. I don't know of being able to do that. So it's all subjective. Now, when I go to my doctor, I'm expecting that if something is wrong with me, that she's going to fix it. She has proven that she can do that. That she has proven to me. So I always feel real comfortable, you know. Number one, if I actually have something wrong with me, when I know I have that appointment, I automatically start feeling a tiny bit better. When I get in that office, I feel a little more better. And then when she looks at it, diagnoses it, or whatever term you want to use, and she's getting ready to treat it, man, do I feel better. So, I think there's some expectation, in fact I know there is, when these people are going to these Reiki healers and all these other kind of businesses, you know, they're going to anticipate they're going to feel better. However, how objectively can they subjectively say whether their pain is increased or decreased, whether their nausea increased or decreased, or whether this general feeling of I don't know, depression or mental something or whatever has gotten better or gotten worse? I doubt it they can. Now, there's an incentive for people who seek these treatments to feel better. What's the incentive? Well, unless this is their first go-round with the acupuncturist or the Reiki healer or the whatever healer, unless it's the first go-round, they could have quite a financial investment in these people. And some of these people get treatments. I'm sure it wouldn't be unusual for people to go get these so-called Reiki treatments or these energy healing treatments once a week or something like that. Or go to a chiropractor, for crying out loud, once a week or whatever. So there is a financial investment. Now let's say, you know, we have two kinds of people, one who are just starting out and the ones who've been going for a while. So the ones who are just starting out, they most likely went there because a friend recommended them or something. You know, they most likely just didn't one day pick up the phone book and say, hey, is there some kind of Reiki person out there? I want to go to a Reiki person. So it's most likely a friend who suggested it. Let me come back to part 2.